Good morning. Another Monday morning. Here's another Monday morning motivation for us to keep our week running the way we want it. Now, recently I've noticed there's lots of information around, lots of marketing about people should scale their business. And I notice probably an equal number of comments from people who are stressed by the idea that perhaps they should grow their business or scale their business, but not sure what it is, not sure if they should, not sure maybe they should stay where they are. Now, these are really important things because stress is a terrible thing if you allow it to take hold of you. Now, this might be a surprise to some, but stress is not necessarily a given. Stress is something you can choose to not have. And the best way to choose to not have stress is to understand what it is that you're doing. That means that you probably want to take a really good look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, who you're doing it for, etc. And in understanding all of that, it can take away all of those fears and worries that stress tends to lay upon us. Now, when we're stressed, if you look about, the medicos will tell you that stress is terrible for your physical health. It's not real bright for your mental health either. So if we can eliminate stress, we might very well do a heck of a lot better in our daily life, which means also our business, than if we're suffering from the stress. So how are we going to get rid of it? It all comes down to making a decision. And what's the decision? Well, if we look about and we go, perhaps we should scale because someone else suggested it, then we're trying to live up to somebody else's expectations. Now, whenever you're trying to do something for somebody else's expectations, chances are it's going to be hard. Now, it'll be hard because it's not yours, it's not your idea. Now, if you have the idea, if you own the idea, it's pretty easy to go out and do whatever's necessary to make that work. But if you're trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, often we find ourselves stressed because we don't really know what they are, we don't really know how to achieve them, and so on and so forth. So we've got to look into what it is that we want. What do we want to achieve? Do we want to have a business that's scaled? Do we want to have a business that's large or larger than it is? Or do we want to have a business that's smaller than what it is? Now, it might seem odd to say, do we want to have a smaller business? But I can think of numerous people who have had businesses which are quite large, and they've reduced the size of that business to provide themselves with a much better life, and many of them a much better income. Being big doesn't necessarily mean better. Now, it all comes down to the individual. So it's what you want. What do you want to achieve? When you know the answer to that question, it makes the motivation for each week much easier to obtain and deal with. So what can I encourage you to do this week? Think about what it is you want to do. And why is this week a good time to do it? Because next week, it's going to be June, the last month of the financial year. That's probably a really good time to make a change if you want to make a change. Yeah, there's a lot more information available about stress and how to handle it, a lot more information about growing your business and how to handle that, and indeed making one smaller if you like. But if you follow the link in the comments beside this live, you'll be able to find some information there which might be helpful to you. So have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.